So hi everyone. First, I was going to give my presentation in Spanish, but there is not much Spanish speakers, so I will try to make it say it in English. So first of all, my name is Jonathan Girón. I work at UNAM, that's the National Autonomous University of Mexico. With the building that I work as the Research Institute for Education. I'm an editor there, and I'm also part of ADHO, that's the Mexican Association of HD. You can see all of us here in the last conference that was in San Luis, Mexico. So as about editor and a digital humanist, I'm interested in new methods of construction knowledge, particularly in formalizing digital humanities publications beyond traditional books and journals. So today I'm going to present part of our master thesis, digital humanities, which aims to present an exploratory study that seeks to understand what digital objects Latin America digital humanists produce and how they use them. I particularly focus on the cases of Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina. So I'm going to present you a typology of academic digital objects that accounts for the production and use in the research process, as well as their epistemological function. So for this, I use a ground theory and a situated knowledge perspective. I use a small sample to interview well-established researchers and new researchers. And I conduct these interviews between 2021 and 2022. So the root problem of scholarly digital objects in Latin America is firstly to understand what kind of material digital humanists produce and how they use them, particularly to know which ones they consider publications and why. So a little background and a little problems is that you can see it like in the map, there are a lot of digital humanists in Latin America, but there are no centers or departments dedicated to digital humanities in the region. So we don't have like trust data on how digital humanities works and what they produce. But not everything are problems because we have like different associations. These are the three ones that I conduct the interviews: Mexico, Argentina, and Colombia. So I gathered a small sample of these associations and conduct in-depth interviews to understand what kind of scholarly digital objects they use and produce and why. And we also have different academic programs, like the one I did in Mexico. We were at DH18. You will remember the party of Claustro de Sor Juana, which is where I get my master's. And different events like Semana HD, that is annually gathering online, where we, online or free, where we can gather for a week to share projects and reflections. So this is like the synthesis of the typology. Of course, I'm going to focus only in some items. And I have to say something a little obvious, but I should not forget that these digital objects aim to knowledge building, to advance different fields of humanities. As one of the interviews says, my main objective is the generation of knowledge, always starting from this question of how we can generate new knowledge with digital tools, generate a new approach, a new way of reading the text, a new way for the text to be able to dialogue with other tools, with other text, with reading possibilities, and so on. This is Jimena Rio. So I'm going to focus on these digital objects, tools, digital editions, visualizations, repository, and databases. There are a couple more in the typology, but these are the ones that are most interesting to me in the sense that I aim to understand them better and try to integrate them into the format communication system. So in first place, we have tools. We all know, like computing codes, scripts that make possible to automate various tasks and analyze large groups of information. They allow for new methodologies, and they are functions because they can be adapted to new researches. Next, we have digital editions. Technically semantic markup, commonly XML in its TEI standard, HTML. As a publication, they allow the reader's user to access different layers of the text and groups various data. As all we know, they can be research spaces and output for research. We find mainly critical editions with TEI. There's an early version of that is in the Biblioteca Digital de Pensamiento No Hispano. And I also find multimodal pages that allow nonlinear narratives in these kind of publications. Then we have visualizations that are visual arguments that allow patterns to be shown. Sometimes they allow nonlinear narratives as way of presenting results. And there is a great diversity of visualizations from traditional graphics, clusters of terms and concepts, timelines, and georeferenced maps. Particularly, these maps play a prominent role in Latin America. Here we can say a part of the project, the La Bandera de Bogotá, of Estefanía Galini in Colombia. And we have repositories. Repositories plays an important role because it is through digitalization of documents and the creation of digital archives that digital humanities have largely been advanced in Latin America. So we find a lot of them. A centralized space that stores, organizes, and presents digital objects of various kinds. One of its functions is to improve access and visibility of digital resources. And they involve modeling and organizing data to present an argument or exhibit. Then we have databases, a set of data on the topic stored systematically. It allows for efficient storage and retrieval of information. And as a research result, it's a way of presenting patterns and recognize thematic relationships. In this sense, it implies an interpretation of information. So then we have like the challenges and strategies in Latin America with these digital objects. Firstly, like the challenges is we have limited economic and infrastructure resources, shortage of human resources, and a little or no recognition of these practices. These three goes, of course, together. There is no way to evaluate and therefore formally publish many of these research results. I know this is a common problem for all digital humanists, but it becomes important in a region where digital humanities are not very well known. Then we have lack of tools and resources in Spanish. We'll use Python or Omeka and so on. And platforms like Leaf Commons or Manifold, workshop that I attended this past days. They are great, but unfortunately, the documentation is not available in Spanish. So with these challenges, we deploy these strategies. In first place, we create communities like the Red HD, Asociación Colombiana, these associations and networks. Online pages to share knowledge, training in formal ways, informal ways, gatherings of different ways of press and why. We try to document. It's hard because sometimes you don't have the money, the time, you have to finish the project and go to the next one, but we try to document. And always we try to share and share and share. So, in conclusion, understanding which digital objects are generated and used is important from an epistemological perspective, as these objects contribute to the construction of knowledge. They transform the research process that are always historical, political, and social. In Latin America, digital humanities represent an intersection not only between humanities and computing, but also among various perspectives, competence, and experience. Gracias.